The Jacksonville Jaguars have begun their season with a below-average record that has people wondering if they can come back from this terrible start and save their season. They have had tough losses that have shown a lot of people their team's character, from them having a 14-point lead against the Miami Dolphins and still losing to them by a game-winning field goal. Not only did they manage to lose a game that was close, but on Monday night when they played the Buffalo Bills, they got blown out where the game was never close. The Jaguars already set themselves up for a difficult path to get back in the conversation and win their division. They showed a lot of potential once they hired Doug Peterson as their head coach, with him helping shift their team's culture and even bring a key factor to the development of their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. Lawrence's first year with Doug Peterson as his head coach went better than expected, with the Jaguars finishing the season with a winning record and winning their division to make the playoffs. What was so surprising about them making the playoffs was that they were 3-7 and looking like a team that was still figuring out how to finish games and even win close games as well. However, after a bye week in Week 11, they rallied and won 6 out of 7 games to end the season. They kept this momentum going by having a comeback win against the Chargers in the wildcard round of the playoffs. Jacksonville did lose in the next round of the playoffs to the Kansas City Chiefs, who went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Even though they lost in the divisional round of the playoffs, there are a lot of high hopes for the Jaguars to take that next step as a contender in the AFC. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case in 2023, where they took a step back and couldn't continue their progression as an elite team. Instead, they managed to tarnish their season by going from 8-3 in Week 12 to finishing their season 9-8, causing them to miss out on the playoffs. They started to spiral in December and wasted a really good season that showed Trevor Lawrence finally becoming one of the great QBs in the league. Nonetheless, that didn't last long, because during the season in Week 13 versus the Cincinnati Bengals, Trevor Lawrence went down with an ankle injury. The reason I bring this up is from Lawrence still playing every game except the only game they won after his injury, which was against the Carolina Panthers. It's very likely that he played through the injury, causing him not to play at the same level he showed in the beginning of the season, so they have somewhat of an excuse on why they couldn't clinch a playoff berth last season. But now they have a healthy quarterback and still started the 2024 season like it showed their former selves, and have not lived up to their expectations a lot of people set for them. In the past 3 games, Trevor Lawrence, who has been seen as the Jaguars' franchise quarterback, has been struggling to put points on the board. It's not like Lawrence doesn't have any weapons around him, because they have a bunch of veteran receivers on their team that have had success in the NFL and even put up over 800 yards and 80 receptions in their careers. These players include wide receivers Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis, as well as tight end Evan Ingram. They even drafted wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU, so they have a decent receiving core that can make it easier for Trevor Lawrence to get the ball down the field. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case this season with the lack of offense they have shown so far. Not to mention that the Jaguars' defense has been awful as well, from allowing offenses to easily get in the red zone and not even be able to force any turnovers. In the past 3 games, Jacksonville's defense hasn't gotten an interception or recovered a fumble, which makes it difficult for them to score points and give their offense better field position. I honestly have no clue if the Jaguars can make a comeback and salvage their season from what they've shown in the past weeks, but I do know that they aren't this bad of a team. They have made a lot of significant moves to their team that gave them a chance to compete with the rest of the AFC. However, they will have a lot of questions to answer with their team and how they will be able to revive their organization back to success.